Well, here we are in Redcliffe, which is just north, a little bit north of Brisbane. And Redcliffe is the name of a residential suburb in Moreton Bay region in the northeast of Brisbane metropolitan area in Queensland, Australia. It also refers locally to the Redcliffe Peninsula as a whole, a peninsula, by the way, jutting into Moreton Bay, which contains several other suburbs. And since the 1880s, Redcliffe has been a popular seaside resort in southeast Queensland. I'm not on the Esplanade now, obviously. I'm right behind the Esplanade. You can see these older shops. I'm just going to go walking through an arcade here, Commodus Arcade. And then we'll go and have a look at the ocean and the Esplanade when we get through Commodus Arcade. There's some history here as well, and some old photographs of Redcliffe's past. This arcade also leads toward one of the most popular fish and chip shops. I think it's one of the better ones. It's called Yabby Road, and it's extremely popular. Just walking up this arcade, Commodus Arcade. You can see it's a fairly old arcade. It's got a really lovely feel to it though. There's the local art gallery. It's closed right now, but it's called the Seaside Artists Art Gallery. There's plenty of history on Redcliffe and some of the people here. Here's some interesting history up on the wall. Just get the camera up a bit. Right, Redcliffe Marine Parade history. Let's have a look at this. So that's the 1918 panoramic history there. 1900 here, passengers disembarking from the end of the jetty after a 3-hour voyage from Brisbane via Woody Point at the steamer Emerald. Or on the steamer Emerald. They're just disembarked and they're heading in toward Redcliffe, and see that middle section there, and then it goes further onto the shore. So here's 1921. The oyster kiosk opposite the original 1885 Redcliffe Jetty, which you can see right there. There's the hairdressers there. And there they are in 1921, starting the construction of a newer jetty. There'll be another couple of jetties after that as well. There's a bit of an aerial look with the original 1885 jetty you can see down there. And we'll just go down to 1932 now. 1932 Redcliffe second jetty. Just down to 1930 now quickly. And the various years there. So as you can see, quite a few changes through here, this area. This is Yabby Road. This is one of the most popular fish and chip shops. It is absolutely fantastic. They have the traditional fish and chips, and they have the green peas and the vinegar to go with it and everything like that. So if you're on the Redcliffe Esplanade, you really need to try a feed of these fish and chips from Yabby Road. And the guy here at Yabby Road, the owner, is a Beatles fan, by the way. And he plays a lot of music from the 60s, particularly the Beatles music. You can see the big yellow submarine there as well. Just doing a YouTube video, just saying you're the most popular fish and chip shop in the whole of Brisbane, perhaps.
Have you seen the sign out there?
Which one? Yeah. Oh, check that out. There we go. So I won the 2019 Courier Mail Best of Brisbane Fish and Chip Shop. And there's the proprietor. I was just talking to him, with Paul McCartney's brother. He's got some Beatles memorabilia here, but it's nothing compared to his private collection at his house as well. Yeah, but apart from the Beatles memorabilia and all the Beatles memories, best fish and chips around, I reckon. It's a great atmosphere too. And the yellow submarine as well on the wall. Oh, there's some more stuff there too. That picture in there, that's you with Paul McCartney's brother.
Yes, Michael.
That Michael's his name.
Scuffle. Remember the Scuffle?
Oh, yeah. And so what's your name? Alan. So you're with Michael there, Paul McCartney's brother. Right, yep. Here we go.
Natural crawfish.
Well, we'll come back here in a little while. We'll get some fish and chips from you later. Yep. So some great prices here. We have a look at the menu here. We might just take a bit of a walk down here, down the Esplanade. There is the Bee Gees Way here, which is a memorial to the Bee Gees, but I can't show you that this time because they're renovating it. So when they do reopen it, I will go down the Bee Gees Way and we'll do a video on that when they finish renovating and reopen the Bee Gees Way. And the Bee Gees Way, by the way, is here for a good reason, because the Bee Gees used to live in this area and they played at the local Redcliffe Speedway on the back of a truck. That's how they got their start. That's how they first began their singing career. A famous Ningi boring structure consisting of two separate rings, large and small, joined by a ritual pathway, once existed, by the way, between Kippa Ring and Anzac Avenue, and Aboriginals as far away as Noosa would travel to perform initiation ceremonies. Which is amazing, isn't it? But before European settlement, the Redcliffe Peninsula was occupied by the indigenous Ningi people. The town's name originates, Redcliffe. That name originates from Redcliffe Point, named by the explorer Matthew Flinders. And Redcliffe Point, named by explorer Matthew Flinders, refers to the Red Cliffs at Woody Point, which is a little bit further up from where I am, and Redcliffe became Queensland's first colony in 1824. However, it was soon abandoned for Brisbane. But Redcliffe holds the distinction of being the first European settlement in Queensland, first visited by Matthew Flinders on the 17th of July, 1799. And explorer John Oxley recommended Redcliffe Point, named after the red-coloured cliffs visible from Moreton Bay, to the governor, Thomas Brisbane, for the new Moreton Bay penal colony. And the reason he recommended it is that ships could land at any tide and easily get close to the shore. That's what he reported. But the penal colony was established at Redcliffe on the 13th of September 1824 under the command of Lieutenant Henry Miller, with 14 soldiers, some with wives and children, and 29 convicts. However, this settlement was abandoned after 1 year, and the colony was moved south to a site on the Brisbane River at North Quay, about 28 kilometres south, from where I am anyway, and that offered a more reliable water supply for the convict settlement. The settlement, by the way, led to the establishment of Brisbane, which is now Queensland's capital city. For those who don't live here, would like to know that. What a beautiful looking area. It's the Redcliffe Jetty. There's been a few different jetties over time. I showed you those older jetties just before with those old photos. But Redcliffe became a pastoral district in the 1860s, and in the 1880s boomed as a seaside resort town. And in 1878, a suburban subdivision called Portwood Estate around present-day Portwood Street, Sheehan Street and Sylvan Street was offered for sale. By the way, the old estate map shows the Redcliffe railway line terminating at a railway station just to the northeast of the estate. From 1911, the twin-screw excursion steamer called Cooper made regular trips to Redcliffe Jetty. So there's a steamer that actually made regular trips to the Redcliffe Jetty. And the principal route for passengers was a steamer from Sandgate Pier to Woody Point Pier. The Hornybrook Bridge, connecting Clontarf in the town of Redcliffe to Brighton in the city of Brisbane, was completed in 1935 and allowed easy access to and from Brisbane by vehicle, motorcar, leading the way to rapid suburban development that led to the cessation of Sandgate and also the Woody Point steamers. Now, we were talking about the Bee Gees before. In 1958, the Gibb family from Manchester, England, emigrated to this area and called it home for a period. Barry, Robin and Maurice Gibb went on to form the highly successful music group, the Bee Gees. In 1959, Brisbane-based speed car driver Bill Good, the promoter of the Redcliffe Speedway, located at the Redcliffe Showgrounds, hired the brothers to entertain the crowds at the Speedway from the back of a truck during the interval. And this was the first ever public performance by the trio. That's why we have a Bee Gees Way memorial here, which I want to show you when it's completed the renovations. In a letter to the Redcliffe Museum in 1999, Barry Gibb wrote about the Speedway and his memories there. He wrote, "The smell of oil, the noise and the atmosphere was incredible. This was the first public appearance Robin, Morris and I ever made in Australia. We sang through the PA system. He said we sang through the PA system and people threw money onto the truck. And we met Brisbane's leading DJ and racing car driver Bill Gates, he said, who suggested we call ourselves the Bee Gees, and even played our songs on his radio show called Swingin' Gates Platter Chatter. Hence Redcliffe became the birthplace of the Bee Gees. I might just cross this road and we can just walk up the other side of the footpath. The first high-rise apartment building was constructed along Marine Parade in 1974 for decades. The interest for similar development was limited. Until 2000, there were only 4 apartment buildings higher than 6 stories across the entire peninsula, but renewed interest in Redcliffe as a seaside lifestyle precinct occurred in the 2000s and 2010s, and as a result, high-rise and mixed-use development is found in all areas of Redcliffe along the coastline. So there's lots of attractions here at Redcliffe and all the way down to Sutton's Beach and further along. And with some other videos we'll be covering Sandgate as well. And all around that area. I'm just going to go back up this footpath just a little way. I know I came down here, but I just want to take you a bit further past this point where I started virtually, from the Esplanade, from the arcade, just going past Yabby Road again. And we'll cross the road up here, I think. Just where I'm crossing here on the Sunday, every Sunday they have markets and they close this street off where I'm just crossing now. They close it off and they have the markets here all the way down this Esplanade every Sunday. Excuse the wind. That's an original building right there. Used to be a cinema, I believe, at one stage, and used to have shows in there. More coffee shops and eateries on the other side of the footpath. I might take you out to the jetty now. There may be some wind noise, so please excuse that. I can't do anything about that. When we get into the middle part of that jetty, I think there's even more history. To subscribe. I really need subscribers to like these videos, but if I can get 1,000 subscribers, then you can type in your questions to me in real time as I'm doing these walks, and I can answer your question on the video in real time, on the live feed rather, in real time. Whereas just now I'm just recording a video. You can still ask your questions and I'll get back to you down below. But if I do live feeds, you can talk to me in real time. I need 1,000 subscribers and I'm still a fair way off that, so please click and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. This jetty's changed quite a bit over the years. Maybe some more history on it. Excuse the wind noise. It's not a long jetty. Don't worry, we're nearly there. And this wind noise will stop, I hope. Just going to give you a bit of a look back to where we came from. Let's keep going. Well, some history there. Nice place for families to eat and have fish and chips and everything else. A lot of people fish from here as well. So this little area here sort of mirrors that halfway house that you can see in the photo there. That's in about 1940. Show you some of this history here. Harry's daughter Vera and her husband Jerry Woodhead took over the running of the arcade in 1952, so there was an arcade here. Now, the halfway house was demolished in December 1973. The jetty had what we called the halfway house that operated as a penny arcade. It had slot machines, a punching bag and a machine with a lot of cards in it. And as you turned the handle, the cards flipped over one after the other. You looked through the viewer and saw a motion picture. But they were the old penny machines, and of course, when Dad originally opened, you were not allowed to return a penny. And with the Queensland government, it was a no-no, and actually Dad was closed down. He opened for a little while, and then it was closed for a year and a day because they were regarded as gambling. They were so innocent, really, compared to some of today's machines. And all through the war, when all the Americans were over here, they thought our pennies were the funniest. Big, awkward-looking things. Big, a thing this size, and they used to have bets among themselves, rolling it down the pier to see who could roll it the furthest before it went down the cracks. Some history there. It's a picture of the rail lines laid on the first and second Redcliffe jetties to enable goods and luggage from boats to be placed in trolleys and rolled down the jetty. It's about 1929 there. The first Redcliffe jetty, looking back to the shore from the far end of the jetty, about 1918. First and second jetty side by side in 1922. And the second Redcliffe jetty about 1940. It's good they've got this history here for people to look at. Children fishing. Fishing near the pavilion on the first Redcliffe jetty at about 1910. This is a really good photo. George Corsidon waiting for the first jetty, and that's in about 1900. not much there. I can't see an Esplanade street there, can you? It's just about nothing. And 3 boats at the first Redcliffe Jetty at about 1906. And these are crowds coming off the jetty at about 1929. So a little bit of history there. Yeah, I mentioned we'd be going out to Sandgate. We'll also be going to Shorncliffe as well, where they have a jetty. It's called a pier, really, the Shorncliffe Pier, and it is an incredibly long pier. I think it goes for 1 kilometre, something like that. But we'll be walking out on that and giving you some history on that as well. Sure, when we turn this phone around, it won't be so windy. I hope you like that walk we've just done. On Redcliffe. Accommodation over there, you can see those accommodation buildings. Those beautiful pine trees along the Esplanade. Just a beautiful day. Around this way. You can see this walkway going down here. That actually goes quite a distance, and it actually meets up to a lagoon where the public can swim there for free. And it also has barbecues down there as well for the public. I think we'll finish this video here because there's not much else to see in this little area here, but it gives you the idea. It's just a lovely little spot to come and relax. Lots of coffee shops around here. As you can see, the coffee club up there as well. There's Cactus Jack's, Subway, Priest's, Price Busters, the Seaside Art Gallery, and And of course the famous Yabby Road fish and chips, which I'm going to have some right now. So this is Explorer Man signing off. Please subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And if you want to write any comments down below, please do that. And I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Someone asked if I could cover Ann Street in Brisbane as well. And yes, I will be covering Ann Street. I'll walk the whole length of Ann Street, and we'll also have a look at the Central Railway Station. But very soon too, we'll be looking at Redcliffe and the Redcliffe Pier. And we'll be walking around that area as well, looking at some of the old houses. So I'm just going to go up here to Yabby Road. And we'll finish the video when we get up here into this area. Just a beautiful spot, and it's so nice to see all these people out and about. This being a Saturday afternoon. And I'll just turn my video off now and complete it. And we'll have another video for you very, very soon. Thank you very much for watching. Explorer Man signing out.